Kia ora koutou. This one stings. I broke my rules, chased a trade, and ended up holding through bad news. And if that wasn't enough, I accidentally entered another position. Here's the full breakdown of what went wrong and what I'm taking from it. So this morning, the stocks I saw on the scanner were MLGO, which has popped up, and MEGL was sort of leading on the scanner this morning. MLGO had popped up to about 5.30 and was pulling back just below VWAP when I saw it. So that was pretty much over and done with. I had a quick look at it, but it wasn't really doing anything. MEGL, this was probably more in my more in the range of where I'd like to trade, around that $2 mark. And this also had pushed up to a high of 250, 242 around 5.15. But by the time I was coming online, I was about 6.30. It was just basically in consolidation around the VWAP. And then it broke down, and yeah, once it was below the VWAP, I didn't want to look at that either. So neither of those really did much. And for the first half an hour, I really didn't have really much to trade or do. So the next one that popped up was NCEW, just after 7. This stock here put in a nice move, came from around $3, just under $3, pushed up to 6, and I saw it as it pushed up here and was pulling back, is where I first saw it. I thought about jumping in here, but for me it was a bit early. Really, entry would have been around the $0.50 here at 5.50. That would have been a decent entry as it pushed back up. Or again, as it broke $6, broke over 6 for the pushback. It did pretty well, pushed back to, what's that, around 6. What is that? Yeah, 650, 640, then 685, pull back down to 637, down to here, maybe another entry here, although doji candle, maybe not, and then push up to 733, high of 733. So I didn't take any trades on this. I was a bit hesitant getting in. Also, it was a little bit more expensive than what I wanted to trade. So I left that alone. And also it was still kind of early, just after 7 o'clock. That pulled back and rolled over. But as it was pulling back, another stock sort of popped up that I saw, and that was TOVX. So this stock was around $2. It had popped up from around $1.40 up to a high of $2 here, and then pulled back. I didn't see it until it was pulling back here, back down to off the high of 286. So I didn't see it until it sort of come down. It had come down, rallied, and then it was pulling back here again through this area here. So it already rallied once and then pulled back below VWAP. It bounced back up over $2, and the entry here for me should have been around the break of VWAP, around 220. An aggressive entry could have been here around $2, just over $2, but I was not feeling very confident in myself last night, and I kept missing or hesitating on the entry. So that probably would have been the best entry for me here, was to get in as it broke VWAP, and then looking at taking an exit around 10-15 cents higher. So if I was in around 220, then my exit would have been about 230, 235, maybe 240, possibly 240 if I, probably could have held through that pullback at the top of that candle there for the next push. But I hesitated on getting in there. Once again, it came back down here and held VWAP, the support there, bought back up. Didn't buy in there either, and still could have made my 10 or 15 cents getting in there around 220 still. And then it grinded back up, made a new, pushed up to about 257, I think it was here, and then pulled back below VWAP. So, yeah. Now it's sort of getting, it is really on the backside of the move, that initial move up here, and even for this move here, it's sort of on the back end. I'm pretty sure that the VWAP was closed. Oh, not the VWAP, the MACD. I've got the video here. I'm just going to rip that back to, yeah. So I saw it through here, broke up through, let's get rid of those lines, sorry. Broke up through VWAP again. I didn't take this trade either. It came back down to VWAP. I switched over to PHIO, but that has sort of popped and dropped, so I moved back to TOVC. And now this is really on the back side of the move. So if I go back to the chart for a second. So really, you know, it's pushed up here. It's made a high around 276 here. It's pulling back down. It's pushed again. It's rallied again here. But this is really the end of this move for this stock. It does another push up to around 258 and then rolls over. I entered at 223. So I finally decided to get in. Way too late. Should never have taken this trade. This was not a good entry at all. This is me going, I should have been in way earlier, and then kind of just getting in thinking, oh, it's sort of held around the 220, 225, around that area. I thought I'll get in at 223 and see if it pops. It was not a good idea at all. And I was in here on that red candle, 223. I bought in there, it dumped down to 213 and then rallied from 213 up to about 227. So really could have gotten out there, but it hadn't hit my 10-cent mark, so I decided to hold, which was obviously a mistake. It then pulled back and dropped down to, you know, $1.96. So that's around, what's that, 188 shares. I think it was around 50, over 50, $60 loss at that point. Might have been $50 there and $60 later on. So at this point, I, instead of getting out on this candle here, either here or as it broke down below $2.20, instead of getting out at here, I held it. And even here, when it came back down to below 210, 213, you know, that was definitely a exit. I kept holding. I held and hoped, and it, as you can see, did not rally very much at all. It did hit a low of 184, 183, and then rallied back up to around, was it 215? up to here, but I didn't exit there either. That would have been a $20 loss, just over $20 around here by that stage. So about 215, 210, you know, that would have been a very small loss, really, a manageable loss. And I decided to hold it into the open, which was, again, a mistake. I thought it might rally at the open. It had news. It had some clinical data that came out, I think, about a drug they're developing. That was sort of positive news. So I thought, you know, it might rally at the open. So I'll leave it and hold it through to the open. I'm breaking my rules here because really it hasn't worked right off the bat. It gave a little push. It didn't push it to my target, and I should have stopped out straight away because obviously it's going the wrong direction here, and down here it is well and truly over. And you know, I should have realized that it was going to go into just pulling back, and it'll take a long time for it to rally. The next problem is that it didn't get to the open because new news came out on TOVC, and I think new news came out of a public offering. So if I bring this down here, TOVC, here it is. TOVC Biologics announces pricing of a $7.5 million public offering of up to, you know, 6 million shares of common stock and warrants to purchase, you know, and at a price of $1.10 per share. So that came out and the stock dumped. It dropped from 206 down to $1.37. So I hit the sell button, not quite immediately. As it was dropping down here, I was like, what's going on? And I thought, oh, I've got to get out. So eventually I hit the sell button in this candle here. It did bounce to 165, but I sold just before it bounced at $1.37. It had sort of bought up from $1.30 to $1.37, and I hit the sell key here, you know, but then it pushed up to $1.60. But at least I was out and wasn't getting out even further down, $1.20. You know, this went down right below $1 and is now what, down at 76 cents, 70 cents a share. So I cut it at $1.37, and that was $163.56 loss on that particular stock. So not a very good result at all. It was a, you know, terrible exit and terrible trade. It wasn't a trade that I should have been in the first place. Shouldn't have even taken that trade. That was, you know, the trade really on this stock was either at the start when it's breaking here up above on that first part of the move, and possibly here at break of VWAP where, you know, it's showing some strength and a bit of volume coming in. And those would have been small wins and didn't go very far really, but a lot safer to getting in here nearer the front side of the move rather than all the way here when it's obviously trending, starting to trend down. Yeah, so that was not a very good trade on TOVC. I then switched over to ASST. This was just under $2, and I got in here at 184 and out at 175. I wasn't actually meant to get into this trade at all. If I bring that video, you might be able to see ASST. Where is that? here. So what I did was I was looking at the stock and I was putting in my balance, percentage balance, so it would work out the shares. But what I did was when I hit, and you can hear the autofill there, what I did was I hit enter when I entered the balance. And I don't usually hit enter, I usually click off the field. So when I hit enter, I figured this out. When I hit enter, it actually entered the order straight away instead of just like updating the field. So I didn't realize I had actually placed the order until I heard the little chime. And then I realized I was in, and I thought, well, maybe it'll push. Maybe it will, push back up to the high or that. And it kind of did. It kind of pushed back to my entry. Unfortunately, it got filled around $1.84, which was nearer the high, which is basically up here. So, yeah. So I'd entered in where that blue line is, sorry, 184, which is about there. And it did sort of pull back to 178, 179, and then it gave a little push back to 185, I think it reached on the ask. So I could have got out break even, and that would have been fine. And to be honest, it wasn't a big loss on this. It was only, $13, I think, in the end. But really, I wasn't meant to be in there. Should have got out straight away. So we'll learn that lesson. Don't hit enter when you're entering any of the fields on that platform. So, yeah. So that was a mistake on ASST, and after that, I called it a day. Basically, I was down 176. 177.33. So probably after fees, I'll be down $180 on the day. So not a good trading session at all. Very, just so hesitant. Didn't have confidence last night. Should have walked away without taking any trades at all. So my stats for the month now aren't looking good at all. Down in my P&L 133.52, and a big red day again that overshadows all the green days. So now I have my work cut out for me again, trying to recover from another big loss, and in a small account, $177 is a big loss for me to recover from, especially when my green days are, often less than $10 and sometimes over 10 or 15 on a good day. But I really need to get my confidence in check and get into those trades at the start, and because I'm taking too much risk when I'm trading on that backside, and just stopping out as well, getting out when the loss is tiny and not waiting for it to be a massive loss before I am forced to take an exit. So lots to learn from today, and going into going forward, I really need to have that confidence in myself to get in at the right time, and because I know when the right time is, or when a better time is to enter the trades, and that I'm just sometimes really hesitant to do that. And I think that's a fear of losing. I had a winning streak of 6 days, and I think that's my longest winning streak, is 6 days, and I was at that limit in the last session, and I don't know, just lost that confidence in myself to do, take a good trade, and ended up having a massive loss. Not my proudest moment today, but I'm not hiding from it. Every red day has something to teach. If you've held and hoped before, you already know. Let me know in the comments what you would have done differently. I'll be back tomorrow, smarter, sharper, and ready to fight another day. Hit subscribe if you're learning alongside me. I will see you then. Hei a popo.